pew. Pew, pew. Ring. Wah!
Do I have to turn this on? Is this working?
Okay.
Should be working. Hello? Hello, guys? I mean, I know you can all hear me, but it has nothing to do with this, right? Good. That's okay. No, I'm going to use the stand. This is all we're going to do. Once I figure this out, guys, it's all... Alright.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay.
Beware! The Ides of March.
Congratulations, all of the 107 billion humans who have ever existed. You are one of the approximately 47 people who are fortunate enough to be here with us tonight. Well, this can only mean one thing. That, unlike Julius Caesar, you have survived the Ides of March. It's no small feat. Considering that Caesar's fellow Romans marked the 15th of every month by sacrificing a goat to the almighty god Jupiter, using a method Malcolm Gladwell referred to as thin slicing. I feel I can confidently assume that none of us in this room has participated in the ritual sacrifice of anything to anyone. But alas, Jupiter has spared us. Huzzah! All right. Thank you, Jupiter. All right. H.P. Lovecraft was not so lucky. He died on March 15th, 1937 at the age of 46. West Coast hip-hop pioneer Nate Dogg died on March 15th, 2011. The same day the civil war in Syria began. Coincidence? Almost certainly. But in the days leading up to March 15th of 1998, I myself feared for my own safety and for the safety of my family. I'd come home from school one day to find that my dad had written a cryptically vague message on the calendar he kept in his bedroom wall. Scrawled across the week of March 15th were the words, "It's coming." My high school English class had just finished reading Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, so the soothsayer's warning, "Beware the Ides of March," was fresh in my mind. What's coming, I wondered? It seemed obvious that my dad didn't want my sister and I to know, as evidenced by his covert choice of words. And yet, if he truly didn't want anyone to know, why write anything at all? If it was so important that he would remember what it was without explicitly defining it on the calendar, then surely a simple star or an asterisk would have sufficed. It could have been nothing. Of course, some totally innocuous reminder. Maybe it was something embarrassing, like a prostate exam or a colonoscopy. But if that was the case, then wouldn't he just write doctor's appointment? My imagination ran wild trying to solve the two-word puzzle. It's coming. Whatever it was, I was convinced that it was something bad. My dad was bipolar, and he seemed to be in the middle of a manic swing. Well, days earlier, a mundane discussion over where we should go to dinner turned into a terrifying high-speed shouting match as we barreled down Interstate 10, all because my sister made the mistake of suggesting the wrong restaurant. Well, we were always walking on eggshells around Dad, never sure what random question or remark might send him spiraling out of control. Well, long story short, there was no chance in hell I was going to ask my dad about his calendar directly. It's coming? What the fuck does that mean? My sister was as puzzled as I was, but where I was concerned, she was pissed. I'm calling Mom. Our parents had recently split after 30 grueling years of marriage, and all of the irrational rage my father typically focused on my mom had, well, shifted over to my 17-year-old sister. Now that Mom was out of the house, my sister often called our mom when we needed advice on dealing with Dad. You know, crazy may not have been my mother's native tongue, but she'd become a decent translator over the years. Unfortunately, she too was stumped. She offered to talk to my dad about it, but I begged her not to. If she called him asking about a note, he wrote to himself on his calendar in his bedroom, a bedroom they once shared, but she chose to leave. Well, then he would think we were snooping and passing the intel along to Mom. Well, my dad was in the Navy during the Cold War, and he often treated his own family like a network of Soviet spies plotting his own doom. Well, he would feel violated, betrayed, and there's no way that could make the situation better. So I was beginning to wish I hadn't involved my mom or my sister. Well, better yet, I wish I had never seen the calendar in the first place. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? In spite of his penchant for reckless endangerment, Dad had never physically abused any of us. He certainly wasn't capable of murder, was he? And sure, he was unstable, but no way was he suicidal, right? Still, I couldn't escape the feeling that my dad was planning something rash, and that I might have the power to stop it from happening. After all, Caesar ignored the soothsayer's warning, and look where he ended up. So when my dad got home from work that evening, I mustered up my courage, and I just asked him straight up, "What's coming?" "What's that?" he replied. I pointed to his calendar. "You wrote, 'It's coming.' What's coming?" But Dad looked at his calendar, then back at me. A smug, satisfied grin began to slither across his lips. "Wouldn't you like to know?" He said, and that was the end of our conversation. So ultimately, March 15 came and went, and so far as my sister and I could tell, nothing happened. Well, nobody died and nothing exploded. The world kept spinning, and its 6 billion inhabitants still had no idea why. Years later, I asked my dad about the whole episode. Well, he explained that in a rift of passion, he decided to kick my sister out of the house on her 18th birthday, March 21st, 1998. But couldn't bring himself to go through with it. You know, at last, mystery solved! But wait, I mean, that makes absolutely no sense at all. I mean, what kind of father doesn't know his daughter's birthday? And why mark the 15th and not the 21st? The answer, I suspect, is that he was fucking with us. Playing head games, trying to instill in his children the same kind of fear that led the Romans to sacrifice goats to an imaginary god, in hopes that the mighty Jupiter might spare them his wrath. Probably. Thank you.